You're watching the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. Homecoming inside Bill Snyder Family Stadium, where the Kansas State Wildcats are one of the most dominant teams in college football, beating opponents by more than 30 a game, including last week's drubbing against TCU. They're going up against a Houston team that nearly upset Texas last week. With that, hello and welcome to Manhattan. I'm Lo Galindo here with Kirk Morrison. Stormy Bonatoni will join us from the sidelines in a moment. Among Big 12 teams, OU is the only program scoring more points than these Kansas State Wildcats. And Kirk, they're doing it not with a quarterback controversy or competition. It's a co-op.
Yeah, well, it's a 1-2 punch. And normally you hear that, you think, oh, running back, 1-2 punch. Not at Kansas State. The 1-2 punch actually is the quarterback position. It's the age and experience of Will Howard. But, man, you talk about the youth of the 5-star Avery Johnson. Look, Lowell, I was down at the student store. I saw that number 5 jersey coming off the shelves. It is all about excitement. It's a two-system quarterback right now with Will Howard and Avery Johnson. These two dudes are making this K-State offense really go.
Get that NIL number 5. Houston won the toss. They've elected to defer. Kansas State will return. It's Treshaun Ward taking a knee. That gives us a chance to welcome Stormy to the broadcast.
Well, Lowell, you mentioned that near upset of Texas last week for Houston. That was an emotional game that they put everything into. So naturally, a big question is, how is Houston going to respond from that? Because there's no time to feel sorry for yourself, and you're going into a road tough environment against the defending Big 12 champions. Well, in the words of Dana Holgorsen, welcome to the Big 12. We signed up for Big 12 football. This is what you're going to get every week. There are no breathers. But he did add that he has a lot of confidence in his team today because they've built on some positive things each of the last couple of weeks. And he said he really is eager to see what kind of confidence they're able to bring into this game today, and can they all play together again.
Will Howard gets a start at quarterback. DJ Giddens up the gut for a decent gain on first down. Now, this is great news for Kansas State because Will Howard coming out as a starting quarterback. We're going to see Avery Johnson, but you need to look at number 34 in the purple there. That's Ben Sinnott, tight end, fullback, H-back extraordinaire who left in the second quarter last week against TCU. Howard will throw, and it's into the midst of Jace Brown, the emerging true freshman out of Florida.
Yeah, one of those early enrollees that we'll talk about a lot from Kansas State. The true freshman has really started to come along. Number 1, Jace Brown. We talked about Sinnott. He is a Swiss Army knife kind of guy. An offense loves when they have a Ben Sinnott at their disposal.
So, of course, the season after Deuce Vaughn and his magic, and his Wildcats offense has not missed a beat. Howard, don't forget, with all the talk about Avery Johnson, this guy can move the football on the ground as well. In fact, the OC, the DC for Houston, Doug Belk, told us we're just as concerned with Howard's running ability.
Yeah, but like I said, we just talked about Ben Sinnott, number 34. This is why you're excited to have him back. Watch the block by Sinnott. He just gets out front, nice seal, and it allows Will Howard to get to the outside. The Swiss Army knife of Ben Sinnott already showing his purpose.
Antonio Brooks gets the stop on Giddens, who tried to get the edge. Giddens is going to be more of your power back. Treshaun Ward, more of the lightning. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 10, as the Wildcats are the best opening drive offense in college football, scoring touchdowns on 5 of their 7 drives. Howard will throw again, and Howard is going to be brought down by Chidozie Nwankwo, who is coming off a very strong game against Texas.
Yeah, he's one of those dudes, right? That's what his defensive coordinator, Doug Belk, called him. He's just a dude. The 2 guys up front, Chidozie Nwankwo and also Jamari Caldwell, 2 guys that were stout last week versus Texas in stopping the run, but this time showing off the pass rush ability and pushing through for the sack of Howard.
And speaking of pass rush ability, this is where we would typically see Nelson Caesar do his thing for Houston. However, he is not able to go, injured midweek. So the best pass rusher unavailable for Houston. Dump down to Giddens. Giddens is staying up. Giddens has the first down, spinning for more. One of the best 3rd down offenses in America, but that's a huge conversion there.
Well, it's a huge conversion, and it just caught Houston, it seems, off guard. The defensive line is all the way upfield, and Will Howard allowed the rush, absorbed the rush, and allowed Giddens to just get work behind the line of scrimmage.
Now to Phillip Brooks, top receiver for the Wildcats, and he's brought down by Isaiah Hamilton, the transfer from Texas Southern.
That's a huge conversion there, going back to that third down. That was third and long. Houston would feel a lot better about themselves had the opportunity to stop that, but this keeps the drive going for Kansas State.
And that is Hamilton, one of the top corners for the Houston Cougars, down in pain near the Kansas State sideline. Hamilton, an electric ball hawk for the Cougars, transferred from Texas Southern. He's a Houston kid.
Right.
In case you're wondering, that transfer is a half-mile transfer from Texas Southern to Houston, where he has absolutely become one of the top playmakers here. You see, he tried to make the tackle.
Yeah, he tried to make a tackle, had that little alligator roll at the end. I don't know if he landed on the shoulder, but it's good to see him back up and good to see him walking off on his own power. They're going to need Isaiah Hamilton today if they're going to contend with this outstanding group of wide receivers for Kansas State.
Now, Jamari Caldwell, big number 93 in the middle of the Houston defensive line. He is available. He was carted off because of a full body cramp late in the loss against Texas, but he is good to go. Want to go back, though, to Nelson Caesar. His unavailability. How big is that?
It's huge. We're talking about the leading sack getter for Houston not being available today. A guy who's had to play multiple positions this year because of the change from a 4-3, 3-3-5, 4-2. They've done it all. But Nelson Caesar's scheme versatility, without having him today, is going to be tough for the Houston defense.
Quick pitch to Giddens. Giddens, great blocking. Beebe on the left side, running behind Cooper Beebe, the best guard in college football. It's a dominant left side of the Kansas State offensive line.
Well, the nickname for the police is 5-0. And 5-0 for Cooper Beebe, that's his number. So when 5-0 is coming, you better watch out. And that's what Cooper Beebe, one of the best offensive linemen in all of college football, one of Mel Kiper's big board offensive linemen, Cooper Beebe.
Giddens very quietly has become one of the top running backs in the Big 12. We saw him with that crucial 3rd and 15 conversion. He's the leading receiver among Big 12 running backs this year.
I thought you said he was the inside guy, because right now Giddens is running on the outside. Lo, what's going on? They're changing things up, but right now they find different ways to get out to the perimeter. So early on, what are we seeing? A perimeter game for Kansas State.
Fantastic numbers last week in that whooping against TCU, as this will be the 10th play of the drive. Keep feeding the big fella, because Houston cannot stop DJ Giddens.
I want you to watch the center, Hayden Gillum. So this offensive line has guys with multiple starts. They bring back everybody from a year ago, and the experience is one of the reasons why they've been able to have such success in the running game, because of the chemistry of having so many offensive linemen return from a year ago.
Treshaun Ward now at running back. We've seen the Wildcats convert on 3rd down. Now in the red zone, where they also rank in the top 20 in college football. In fact, Kansas State, the only team in America ranking in the top 20 in red zone offense and defense efficiency, and 3rd down offense and defense. Outside of taking care of the football, those are the most important stats in the game.
Yeah, huge. And this was a point of emphasis offensively and defensively, like you mentioned this offseason. But for Houston right here, they've got to win in the trenches inside this red zone.
Quick pass out on the flat, complete, and into the end zone. Garrett Oakley, he had a touchdown wiped out by a hold last week. He gets it back here. K-State cashes in.
Garrett Oakley's going to get the touchdown, but he better give a high five to his other tight end, Will Swanson. An amazing block by 83. The nice little seal all the way to the kick out. And then Garrett Oakley's able to sneak right inside of that block and go into the end zone. That's a great job by the 2 tight ends. We were talking running backs and quarterbacks. Let's not forget these tight ends working together for a touchdown.
The best starting team in America. Their 8th opening drive. And that touchdown by Garrett Oakley, the 6th on opening drives.
Well,
how about it, though? 12th play, 75 yards.
Garrett Oakley helps out. but it's all about Swanson's block.
The alumni are back. All the festivities surrounding homecoming here in Manhattan, Kansas. Great atmosphere, and the students are here early on. They were doing the Wabash Cannonball with the alums very early. This crowd fueled by some caffeine and donuts from varsity, and they are ready to go. Short kick, fair catch called for with Parker Jenkins. Now, Dana Holgorsen says he's got confidence that Houston can win this game. Why? Because this man, Donovan Smith, in Dana Holgorsen's words, gives me confidence.
It was critical that they got him. That's what Dana Holgorsen said this offseason. When he entered the portal, Donovan Smith, Dana Holgorsen said, that's our guy. That guy right there, we want him on our roster. And trust me, he's definitely proved the point of why Holgorsen wanted to bring him to Houston.
87.2 QBR over the last 3 weeks. That is number 6 in the Bowl subdivision, but we have an early flag.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And that's a win for this amazing crowd here inside Bill Snyder Family Stadium.
And that's a huge, huge penalty early on. Remember, this is the first game for Houston outside of the state of Texas. So already the crowd noise of the state of Kansas getting loud against the Cougars.
And they are the opposite of Kansas State on offense. This is a slow starting team. One opening possession touchdown all year. A little sweep here. Matthew Golden, electric in the open field, but not electric enough for Marquise Siegel, transfer from North Dakota State. He has been a stud.
Yeah, they got to find a way to make this offense's balance. You don't want to put this entire game on Donovan Smith's shoulders. So what do you want to do? Try to find different ways to get guys to football.
Houston playing without Joseph Manjack, their top receiver in the slot. They still have Matthew Golden and the Big 12 leading receiver, Samuel Brown, who you will see wearing number 4 at the top of the screen. Played it safe on the ground, and lowering the shoulder is Parker Jenkins, one of the best true freshman running backs in the Power 5. DJ Payne with the stop.
That's a nice gain on second down. It brings up a third and short, third and little medium. And this is where Dana Holgorsen has the opportunity, right, with this quarterback, Donovan Smith, to either use his legs if the opportunity is there, or if not, find one of those wide receivers. We talked about Matthew Golden, who's touched it already, but number 4, Samuel Brown, leads the Big 12 in receptions and yards. Watch number 4, Samuel Brown, here on third down.
This would be a great time for Manjack, but also watch 85 Dalton Carnes in motion. Smith will keep. Smith spinning his way to the first down. And for as good as he is with the arm, he has not run as much this season, but that could be a game changer. Kirk, what are your keys?
Yeah, for Houston, it's 3 and me, meaning they've got to convert on third down. Well, guess what? They just did that. Forget about last week's non-conversion on that drive against Texas. 3 and me, make sure you convert on third downs and show ID defensively. Identify who's at quarterback. Will Howard, Avery Johnson, those keys, they got to find out who's the quarterback when Kansas State has the football.
Wildcats defensively are most concerned with Smith's scrambling ability. As Jenkins gets the carry, way too open of a hole for Jenkins. He takes advantage of that for 17 yards.
Nice job by the right guard, Tank Jenkins. It was actually Tyler Johnson, number 50, both guards. Watch the cave down. He was able to get great push on the defensive line and allowed Jenkins to come right behind him, kind of riding the wave. The running back finding the hole.
Pushed Uso Seomalu out of the way, which is very tough to do. 340 pounds, wearing 99 in the middle of that Kansas State defensive line. Now with Holgorsen's air raid routes, people kind of think that they will completely ignore the run. He's changed later in his career, but this is still the bread and butter. Taking shots, and it's broken up by Keenan Garber. Running alongside Matthew Golden.
Nice job there by Garber. He's been playing in place of Will Lee. Will Lee was injured a couple games ago and actually started the first 5 games, but Keenan Garber has sort of elevated himself since he's been in for Lee, and that was a nice little play there. Got one-on-one, didn't panic, knocked the ball away. It was a good job on the deflection.
Moved from receiver to cornerback the week of the Big 12 championship game last season against TCU, and then played corner in that game. Smith will keep running right side. A fine job by Austin Moore. They call him the tackling machine.
We're going to call his name a lot. Austin Moore. He's the team leader in tackles, by the way. But Daniel Green, the starting linebacker to start the season, out for the season. They've been waiting for someone to take over at that linebacker position. It's been 41. Austin Moore making plays.
3rd and 8. Could this be 4-down territory for the Cougars? As they're at the 44. Holgerson always aggressive. Smith hit as he throws. Incomplete. Marcus Siegel making another play.
It's all about disguise. It was the disguise. They had Kobe Savage, number 2, near the box, but at the snap of the ball, Savage retreats to the middle of the field, which allows Siegel to come off the edge. No one there to pick him up. And the pressure is what forced the errant throw by Smith.
Marquise Siegel, part of this revamped secondary for Kansas State that is getting better week to week. According to Coach Kleiman, they've made the biggest jump defensively since the start of the year. Here's Lane Wilkins to punt. And a tough game against Texas. This is a good one to the 10-yard line. Wildcat striking first on their opening drive. Back to work offensively. Will we see Avery Johnson after this?
Back here in Manhattan, Kansas. Take a look at that last Kansas State drive, their first drive of the game. And it was really all about Will Howard. 4 for 4, 42 yards and a touchdown. DJ Giddens, the running back, 55 yards of total offense. Got into the red zone and capped it off with Garrett Oakley, the tight end, on a touchdown. You can't start any better if you're the Kansas State Wildcats scoring on their first drive.
Backed up here to the 10-yard line, and Will Howard will come back out for the second straight drive. We saw Kansas State flip-flop Howard and Avery Johnson on consecutive drives against TCU. It was more mix and match depending on the defense against Texas Tech. But Coach Kleiman said there is an advantage to keeping teams guessing on how we are going to use the 2 quarterbacks. But they're not going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting when they get rushing production like that. That's 9 yards from Trayshawn Ward.
Well, we're talking about alternating quarterbacks. Well, let's talk about alternating running backs. That first drive was all about DJ Giddens, right? 55 yards of total offense, rushing and receiving. Starting this drive is Trayshawn Ward, who goes for 9 yards on first down.
Ward getting more comfortable in the offense after transferring from Florida State. We're going around with the speed merchant, Jace Brown. And how about A.J. Halsey? Got off the block to make the stop. And it's going to set up a 3rd and short.
Yeah, Halsey, number 24, just creating an edge. We talked about earlier, that first drive seemed to be really edgy for Kansas State, meaning that the ball was on the perimeter, on the outside. Halsey that time holding his edge, not allowing the ball to get outside.
So Houston defensively on the first drive showed the 3-3-5 stack. That is a defense that they first debuted last week, and they're going back with it here. And it's going to be a timeout, Kansas
Before
State.
The snap, timeout, Kansas State. It's first of the half.
So time to talk it out before a crucial 3rd and 1 coming up from Chris Kleiman, Will Howard, and K-State. Laura Galindo here with Kirk Morrison from Manhattan, Kansas, where the Wildcats scored on their opening drive. And now Kirk facing another 3rd down. It's 3rd and 1. What do you expect?
Well, make sure you find Ben Sinnott, number 34. He's going to be involved in this play. Find 34.
Brooks in motion. It goes to Ward, and that's a first down. How good is this K-State offensive line?
Well, it's pretty good, but then you add in Ben Sinnott, number 34. and he caves down one side and allows Treshaun Ward for the easy gain. You talk about the offensive line, but it's also those tight ends as well. And the Swiss Army knife, Ben Sinnott.
Still have yet to see Avery Johnson, the true freshman, because Howard has this thing under control. Going to the check down and a smart move to Ward. These running backs very involved in the passing game. And good job there by Howard going through the progressions, 9 yards.
Well, the experience of Howard, you got to think about this. Houston, in the last couple weeks, they've changed defensively. They've been 4 down, then 3 down. They had 3-3-5 last week versus Texas. That last play was a 4 down. Will Howard, the experience, sees that. Nice check down, an easy gain of 9 yards on first down.
The sweep, Chase Brown, and Brown picks up the first down. Stormy.
Yeah, and Will Howard talked to me this week about the challenge that it would be with this Houston defense and knowing that they've showed multiple types of fronts recently. And he said, you know, you're always trying to prepare for anything that a team can do, but this is more unique than he's seen. But what did Colin Klein tell us about Will Howard in our meetings yesterday is that he's the smartest player he has ever coached to this point. So naturally, he's good at picking up some of these things.
2 tailbacks in the backfield with Howard now as Anthony Frias checks in with Ward. The carry to Ward, running to that dominant left side behind Hayden Gillum. And that's going to be a minimal gain at best. Howard, though, if you take away the interceptions, which you can't do, that's critical for a quarterback. He's had a really good season. Was off against Oklahoma State. Now, there's been a lot of positives for number 18.
Well, I think also, too, you've got a young true freshman who's pushing him now to be even better.
And that's to Sinnott. Sinnott, good block by Brooks, and he gets past the 40-yard line. Kirk, I believe if you had a draft in college football, Sinnott would go so much higher than people anticipate he would go, especially for people that don't just run a spread.
Well, I watch a lot of San Francisco 49ers football, and if you know, they've got a fullback / Swiss Army knife guy in Kyle Juszczyk. That's who Ben Sinnott is. He's Mel Kiper's #1 fullback on his big board, so he'll be playing on Sundays.
He will make some money. 3 for 3 on third down. K-State trying to make it 4 for 4. Howard, a cool customer, and slipping through for the extra yards on the Wildcats. And Treshaun Ward out of the backfield making that catch. Move the chains, and Wildcats want to go fast.
That's just Treshaun Ward finding a way, getting the ball, and finding an extra yard.
Howard slips out of an ankle tackle, first down. And Howard shows, hey, don't forget my wheels. This is how his career started as a running option at the quarterback spot.
I just said the Avery Johnson, the true freshman, is pushing Will Howard to be at his best. You can't forget that Will Howard is 6'5", 242 pounds, bigger than a lot of quarterbacks in college football, and that was a nice job, him eluding tacklers, picking up a first down.
A.J. Halsey now down for Houston in the secondary. So we saw Isaiah Hamilton have a problem earlier in the game, and this is now the transfer from New Mexico. One of the top players in the Cougars secondary.
And this is a Cougars secondary that's sort of growing up in front of our eyes. A lot of moving parts, as we should say. When you think about the defense that they've had to change, midweek or mid-season, you can say they go from a 4-2-5 to now a 3-3-5. Different responsibilities for guys like Halsey and also Antonio Brooks, number 20.
Reading between the lines with Coach Belk coming into this game, it sounded like they wanted to go back to more of a 4-down front, but the late injury to Nelson Caesar, they didn't find out he was out until Thursday, so that's a whole week of game planning out the window, perhaps forcing them to run more of the 3-3-5.
Well, then I think you also have to take into account that this was a team that played in the American last year, Houston. So a lot of their personnel on their team was geared for that conference, the American Conference. They're still gaining and shaping up their roster to be a Big 12 type of roster, and that's also some of the difficult challenges that Coach Belk faces.
And it's always challenging with this annihilating Kansas State offense. One thing, they're not overly explosive, but if you look at the numbers compared to last season with Deuce Vaughn, it's almost identical through 7 games when it comes to rushing yards per game and yards per carry. The only thing they're not getting are those 50-yard scores.
Yeah, for Kansas State, Deuce Vaughn was the identity of the offense last year. Let's be honest. Deuce Vaughn turned minimal gains into 80-yard touchdowns. They don't have that this year, so it's been a cast of characters grouping together for the offense.
Howard pitch and catch to Jace Brown. Jace Brown reversing fields. And it's going to be very close. No, he's got the first down on the second effort. Get the big fellas behind you and keep on pushing, Kirk.
Yeah, that's the Wildcat push right there. He was short of that first down. He actually did sort of a freshman mistake, right? Retreating backfield instead of going north and south when he got the football. But this is an exciting true freshman. 5'11", 174 out of Florida. Jace Brown, one of the early enrollees, starting to get the feel of the college game. Had a big, huge game last week versus Texas. 4 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown, and showing even more trust in this offense as they give him more opportunities.
Wildcats have come into this game and made it their own. Scored on the opening possession, playing at their pace. They're okay with ball control. They've dominated time of possession in this first quarter.
Back here with Houston head coach Dana Holgorsen. Coach, what kind of challenge has K-State's front presented you guys so far?
Yeah, they're one of the best O-lines in the country. We knew that coming in. You know, they're pretty good on offense right now. You know, third in the country and running the ball. I mean, we're going to have to get some stops on third down. The most disappointing thing is they've thrown the ball on third down and converted every third down that they've had. So we're just going to have to get off on third down.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Nadeem Tucker with the TFL. He's going to have to be big with no Nelson Caesar for Houston. What makes this Wildcats O-line so good?
It's experience. I mean, you bring back 70-plus starts combined on an offensive line. That's experience unlike you see in college football.
Going with a heavy front here. Empty for Howard, and Howard is 9 for 9 as Garrett Oakley gets the second catch of the morning. Oakley came in with 1 catch in his young career, and he's doubled that up on the first 2 drives.
Well, Will Howard is taking what the defense gives him. He's not trying to hit the home run right now. If the defense is going to retreat, he's going to hit the underneath, and that's what he's doing.
This is where Kleiman said that his quarterback is at his best, when the run game is working, and he doesn't have to be a central part of that. 4 for 4 on third down. Third and medium here for Howard. A keep all the way, and the big fella falling forward for the first down.
There was nothing there. There was nothing there. Houston tries to create a pile defensively. You got a bunch of bodies just trying to hold and make the quarterback have to stutter his feet, but yet Will Howard's able to get a little leap in there and get enough for a first down.
I mean, KT Leviston was fighting in that scrum. A guy that Kleiman says is an All-American caliber left tackle. Don't forget about me, says Will Howard, on the money to Phillip Brooks. How about 10 for 10 and 2 touchdowns?
It all starts with the blocking. We just talked about this offensive line. You get a nice little pull from Cooper Beebe to add extra protection, and Will Howard showing off the arm, showing off the ability to hit a guy in stride. This is just who Kansas State is, their offense.
And Howard is planting his flag, saying that this is still my team. I'm the guy that led you to the Big 12 title last season. Red hot. Wildcats up 14-0 here in Manhattan.
Turn them up, turn your up, dog. Turn around, tight these streets can't cross it. Cross them up, all these streets need.
Kansas State fans showed up early, even though the temperatures dropped to the 30s. We're now in the 40s. Not a big deal for them, and not a big deal for Will Howard as well. This is what he does, win football games, and that is coming out to the 25. Let's check in with Kevin Connors.
All right, Lowell, after Dylan Gabriel had already thrown a pick six for Oklahoma, Sam, the Jayhawks just added 6 more.
Daniel Highshaw with the 9-yard touchdown run. This offense is one of the top rushing offenses in all of FBS. Get a touchdown on the ground.
Huge start for KU. It's 14-zip, Lowell.
And Kevin, that's going to be a huge one
That's
late
right up
in
the
the
road.
season.
That's right up the road from here, right?
Yeah, Kansas and Kansas State will be a good one as always, and that could change what happens in the college football standings, which will be released coming up on Tuesday, the CFP review. All right, second drive now for Donovan Smith, facing some pressure. That ball is out of reach of Matthew Golden, incomplete.
Outstanding coverage again by Keenan Garber. He's had some good coverage so far. He had the pass deflection earlier. That's time underneath Golden. And those are the two guys you really have to worry about if you're Kansas State defensively. It's Matthew Golden and Samuel Brown, the two receivers, the big playability of those guys.
Smith 1 for 4 to start. Remember, he was very slow to start against Texas. It was that way against West Virginia as well. Trying to get to the outside and swarming purple jerseys there to stop Stacy Snead. Keenan Garber the first day.
Yeah, it's third down though. And this is the down and distance that we've talked about, 3rd and 6 plus. Can Donovan Smith find ways to keep those chains moving? This is a huge third down because of the 2 drives prior Kansas State has scored. You don't want to give this ball back to that offense of Kansas State, which is humming.
Yeah, red hot, scoring it. Seemed like every drive against TCU. Don't put the ball back in the hands of Will Howard. Smith looking left side, taking a shot, and it's just out of the reach of Stacy Snead. Wildcats will get the football back.
Wow, we talked about a couple of true freshmen on the offense for Kansas State. That time it was the true freshman on defense, Austin Romaine, number 45, another one of those early enrollees that are starting to make an impact for this defense. And Romaine a little excited over there. He got one-on-one on Stacy Snead. That's a pass incomplete. Yeah, you get dapped up by the teammates. Another job by the true freshman.
And another punt by Wilkins. A low punt. Bouncing at the 40. Wildcats trying to get away from it. And it takes a Houston Cougars bounce to about the 30-yard line. Wildcats with 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. Will try to make it 3 for 3 when we return to Manhattan. All season long, student sections across the country are competing to be the Taco Bell Live Más Student Section of the Year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. Here comes Avery Johnson. The freshman from Mays, Kansas, Mays High School in Wichita, Kansas. Now the students realize who's in the game.
I'll tell you this, Coach Kleiman, he said it. Look, Will Howard makes us great, but Avery Johnson makes us special.
He has been splitting time with Howard over the past 2 games. 3rd drive. Will this be all Avery Johnson? Sticking with Giddens on the ground, and there's nothing happening there. There's a stop right at the line by Malik Robinson.
Yeah, you get it. The fan base gets it. They understand it. Avery Johnson, one of the most highly touted recruits that they brought in here at Kansas State in a long time. He's been nothing but excitement so far since he's had his opportunities in this offense.
And you have to defend Kansas State differently. We saw TCU do that when Johnson was in the game, but checked out of a cover 0 look and hit Jace Brown on a deep shot. Ball is out! The first lost fumble for the Wildcats this season. And that is exactly what Houston needs to get back into the game.
That's huge.
David Ugwebu recovers, unforced error.
All season long, Kansas State has had fumbles, but they've recovered every one of them except for that one. Just a mishandle by the true freshman quarterback, Avery Johnson. And the Houston defense gets a gift.
He looked unstoppable over the last 2 games. The first real mistake that we've seen from Avery Johnson, but it's going to be part of the maturation process. But here's what it means. Best field position for the Houston Cougars to get on the board. Smith nailed as he lobs it up to the end zone, but it was Jake Clifton winning all of that.
Wow, Jake Clifton comes scot-free. Number 31, just right through the middle of that offensive line. No one picks him up, and that's what forced the quick throw from Donovan Smith. Had he had time, probably would have been a touchdown.
5 straight incompletions for Smith. He's taken 2 big shots. Cougars have had issues keeping him upright. Quick screen. Samuel Brown, leading receiver in the Big 12, fighting just to get back to the line of scrimmage, but that's going to be a loss of 2.
That's I need the ball in my hands kind of play, right? Here's a guy who leads the Big 12 in catches and saying, I've got to wait until almost 10 minutes left in the second quarter before I can get a touch. So try to turn a minimal gain into a big gain, and then it turns into a tackle for loss. That's what happens when you don't get the football early, trying to turn something into nothing, trying to turn nothing into something.
3rd and forever. Smith, incomplete, nowhere close to Samuel Brown, the intended target, and the Wildcats hold tough after the first lost fumble of the season.
Yeah, that's what happens with Joe Klanderman, the defensive coordinator for Kansas State. He brought pressure. He's wanting to put his defensive backs on the islands, one-on-ones. And that time, the pressure forced Donovan Smith to have to get rid of the football early, but tremendous pressure on the outside by Parrish and Garber.
45-yarder for Jack Martin, the Alabama transfer. This will be his longest at Houston. The kick is up and no good. What a stand by the Wildcats defense and special teams. They call that complimentary football, Kirk.
Yeah, and that's an angry coach in Dana Holgorsen. Upset, thought he had points. Another missed opportunity for the Houston Cougars. Excitement. Who's going to be at quarterback when Kansas State, when we come back?
Kansas State with a huge stop after the Avery Johnson lost fumble. They lead 14-0, and it is Will Howard back at quarterback. He's 10 for 10. The best start for a Kansas State quarterback in the last 20 years. And going to Jaden Jackson, who's stumped. Let's check in with Stormy on the sideline.
Well, and Avery Johnson, understandably, when he came over to the sideline, let out some frustrations. A number of his teammates came up to him and said, you're fine. Most notably, Will Howard, guys who came over, sat down right next to him on the bench, told him, you're going to be fine. And they continue to talk through things, which I think is just another great example of Will Howard and the teammate that he has, because he could be frustrated and have animosity in the situation he's been, but he hasn't.
Giddens slips out of a tackle in the backfield and picks up the first down, make it 11-11 for Will Howard.
Yeah, his opportunities will come. All right, Avery Johnson will get more opportunities, but Will Howard right now is operating this offense like a senior would, right? Getting the ball, spreading it around, making the right decisions.
And it was short of the stick, so it will bring up a 3rd and 1. It's been no issue for the Wildcats here, 5 for 5 so far.
Under center.
Howard rolling, wants to go deep. Brooks is open, contested catch. Of course, Phillip Brooks. 41 yards for the guy that's played a lot of football.
Yeah, but antenna's got to go up. When does Will Howard get under center? He gets under center, and what? It's play action. It's a shot down the field. Houston just not in the right sense of getting things in order. It's a flag on the play. I don't know if it was 12 men on the field, but an outstanding play call there. 3rd and run. It's been what? Will Howard, short run. This time they get him under center. Play action pass, and Phillip Brooks with another big catch.
Telling you, people are sleeping on this Kansas State offense?
Well, I think just the team. Let's just talk about the team.
Absolutely. They win their next 2 games, and they are right in the thick of the race
There's
to
no
the Big 12
foul for an
championship.
ineligible player downfield. The result of the play is a first down.
I think even bigger, we've talked about it before all week long. Kansas State, 5-2 overall, 3-1 in conference. The exact same thing they were a year ago at this time.
Yeah.
Right? So they're right on par for what they did last year in terms of winning the conference title.
And Ward showing such patience. That is definitely part of his game. 4-yard pickup for Ward. And in some ways, as you compare it to last year, you can make the argument they are more difficult to defend because it's not just coming from Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah, you're right. Look, the losses last year were Tulane and TCU. Well, they've already demolished TCU a week ago. The losses this year, Missouri and Oklahoma State. But they know what's in front of them. And a big game next week at Texas. But this offense is a lot better this year than they were a year ago.
Jaden Jackson around the end, taking on the collision and getting up like a champ. Move the sticks, 8-yard pickup.
Well, I should clarify that. They don't have Deuce Vaughn, right? Deuce Vaughn was everything for this offense last year. But because they don't have Deuce Vaughn this year, that's why I think the offense is much better because they're relying on so many more guys who get involved. That time, Jaden Jackson, but we've seen Jace Brown, Phillip Brooks, and a couple of running backs.
Yeah, let's not get it twisted. They would welcome back Deuce Vaughn right now. Patience by Howard looking for the seam, and it is not there. Covered up quickly by the Cougars defense and A.J. Halsey, who's had a good start. But we have
watch the left guard,
player.
Cooper Beebe, on this return. Watch this. The pull. You want to get in front of that, Low? You want to get in front of?
Absolutely not, Kurt.
What? 6'4", 335, Cooper Beebe. He's pulling around, and whew, that's a business decision if you're on defense. Get in front of that.
And this is Akeem Ajijulaya that is down. The junior from Katy, Texas. And we'll check in with Kevin Connors.
All right, Lowell down 14-zip. Oklahoma just responded thanks to a 10-play, 75-yard drive.
When you're in the red zone, they activate Dylan Gabriel, another rushing touchdown inside the 10.
14-7 now, KU in front, Lowell.
Kevin, Sam, thank you so much. What really gets interesting is if OU falls and K-State wins the next 2, this one in Texas, then it's all sorts of upheaval in this final year of the Big 12 with Texas and OU before they head out to the SEC.
Well, we do know for Kansas State, the only way that they can play Oklahoma is in the Big 12 championship game because they don't have them on the regular season schedule. So the games will align if Oklahoma continues to win and then Kansas State as well. They continue to win the collision course down in Dallas for the conference championship.
Current Big 12 standings, OU at 4-0, getting challenged by Kansas. Different program there with Lance Leipold. 2 very good head coaches in this state. I mean, for Kleiman, he's just continuing the legacy of Bill Snyder. But for Leipold, he's completely altered the course of Kansas football, as this is great to see as Jishalaya makes his way off under his own power. But Houston thin right now along the defensive front without Nelson Caesar. 2nd and 8. Howard will throw, and it's the first incompletion. Great hands by Isaiah Hamilton. So the 12 for 12 start. After that, PBU is now 12 for 13.
Nice job by Hamilton, right? Staying off the receiver as well. That's great technique by the junior cornerback. Getting that left hand in there, knocking it away.
Can Houston get a rare red zone stop? Kansas State coming into this game, 80% in the red zone, scoring touchdowns. Ward, how did he get under 1 tackle? Unbelievable job by Trayshawn Ward, just slipping under a tackle to set up a 4th and very short.
It's all about the blocking. Levinson, Beebe, you get those 2 offensive linemen, 70 and 5-0 leading the way. That's how you can get the first down. Follow those two guys. I got the two big boys in front. Actually, KT Levinson's birthday. Happy birthday, KT. He's leading the way.
Hey,
Big job.
Right now, though, Dana Holgers is saying, hold on, Big 12 officials. Why didn't I get that spot
Here you go.
last week in Houston?
And there it is. They were getting the replay. See, you ask and you shall
Rolling in
receive.
the field
Lo.
is a first down. The previous play is under further review.
You ask and you shall receive, Lo Galindo.
Dana is gonna be hot. He's asking still, where was my review last week on a 3rd and 1? Same situation as this. The ball was spotted short, though, for Houston when they had a chance to try to score a touchdown, get a 2-point conversion, and get the win. Let's see how this one looks for Kansas State, however.
Just looking for a body part that touches, and where is the football? That's going to be the hard part.
It looks like he's still up, though. That's the thing.
Correct.
I don't know if he ever went down, so he was able to roll over the would-be tackler.
Right.
Let's see if this angle gives us something.
Yeah, I think the vantage points that we've seen on the early replays is that Trayshawn Ward never touches the ground. I didn't see a body part touch the ground. I think as he rolls
After
over,
further
he
review,
maintains possession.
the ruling in
Gets
the field
enough.
stands. First down.
Yeah, there was just no concise evidence that said anything different, so you stay with the call in the field. And now 1st and goal.
And when you run to the left side of Kansas State, you're setting yourself up for success.
It's a lot of beef.
Levinston means so much for this offensive line because it's allowed Beebe to go back to left guard where he is the best guard in America.
Yeah, Beebe will be playing on Sundays, but you tell me a side of an offensive line where you have 26 starts at left tackle, 42 starts at left guard. I know where I want to run the football behind those two, 70 and 50.
Ward gets the carry. Ward fights through for the touchdown. 4 drives, 3 touchdowns for the Kansas State Wildcats. And Trayshawn Ward, the transfer from Florida State, picks up his 3rd of the season. But this was a short drive. This was a 9-play drive.
Yeah, you see he was hugging Hayden Gillum, number 55, his center, who had the block back. So you have a block back that allows the running back to either keep it front side or cut it back. He cut it right back to his center, 55, Hayden Gillum. This offensive line working in unison.
A team that has handled adversity as well as you can. They had the first lost fumble of the year. What do? They get a stop, they get the missed field goal by Houston, and they come all the way back for a touchdown.
It's all about the ground and pound. It's a Saturday, but the Cats bring in the purple rain.
Penn State off the loss to Ohio State is losing to Indiana. This is Brendan Sorsby to Donovan McCulley.
Penn State brings the corner blitz, and they get caught in the blitz. McCulley goes the rest of the way.
The Hoosiers have 2 first downs, 2 touchdowns, Lowell. It's 14-7.
Kevin and Sam, thanks for the update. Here it's all Kansas State leading 21-0 over Houston. The type of lead that they had against TCU last week. Cougars with the kick, not going anywhere, swallowed up at the 20-yard line by Justice James. Coming up at 3:30 Eastern on ABC, our triple header rolls on with number 7 Texas hosting BYU. And we cap the day off with Colorado with the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, squaring off against number 23 UCLA.
Prime.
How about this? Steve Sarkisian, the head coach at Texas, going up against his former program at BYU, where he was one of the most prolific quarterbacks in program history. Do you know what team he played in his final game?
No, I don't know. What you got?
Kansas State Wildcats in the Cotton Bowl.
It all comes together, right?
It all comes together. Absolutely right. And as long as Taysom Hill isn't running around in Austin, I think those fans will be happy there. But this Kansas State defense, you know what I love about this team, there's been so much talk about Texas and OU this season. Kansas State has put themselves in prime position to be a team playing in the Big 12 title game. Getting young guys like that, Austin Romaine, who's had to make plays because of a significant injury to Daniel Green, one of their leaders. Here's a 2nd and 9 and movement with Houston.
False start. Number 74, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That's on Ruben Unije. Stormy, we just saw the shot of Austin Romaine. He's had to be big because of Daniel Green's absence.
Yeah, guys, and it was funny talking to Austin Moore about the absence of Daniel Green because he said Green has handled it better than anybody else on the team has, and it happened to him, but he's been super involved like a coach, talking through things in meeting. He's still the heart and soul of this defense, even though he's not on the field.
Yeah, Stormy, such a tight-knit group. Open receiver out of the backfield. Turf Monster gets Stacy Snead. That throw just a little high. Kirk, what is going on with Donovan Smith? Because he's out of rhythm early again.
Well, they're taking away the deep throws. And when you take away the deep throws, they're forcing plays like that to Snead, the underneath routes. That's hard for a quarterback because you want to get the ball down the field. You want to find wide open guys 10, 15 yards down the field. But if it's taken away and the rush is starting to get to you, you got to take the check down and get you into 3rd and manageables. And also, you throw in a false start, put you behind the chains as well.
Also been hit hard twice. The most recent one from Marquise Siegel. Empty for Smith here on 3rd and long. Pressured, fighting for his life, throwing behind the receiver, and it's nearly picked off as it went through the hands of Stephon Johnson. Johnson that had the hands, Johnny on the spot style with the Hail Mary in that win 2 weeks ago against West Virginia. Let's also keep in mind, it's a Houston team, Kirk, that is playing 2 extremely emotional games back-to-back. The Hail Mary in the win against West Virginia, Holgerson's former program, and the near upset win against Texas that ended in heartbreak. The punt is off, and Brooks will watch this continue to roll till out the 40-yard line. There's some fighting right now going on between Phillip Brooks and Hassan Hippolyte.
We've seen this a little bit throughout football, whether it's the NFL, whether it's college. Hassan Hippolyte, number 5 for Houston, he's trying to grab Brooks and bring him to the football, right? He's trying to push him and make Brooks touch the football. So, because once that ball is touched by K-State, it's a live football. Houston can recover it. But Brooks is telling everybody, get away. And yet physically, Hippolyte's trying to grab him and push Brooks into the football.
Yeah, but did they see Brooks last with the push to the back?
Right, because
you know how that goes when you start trouble. Sometimes you get away with it as long as you're not the last guy to be seen.
Phillip Brooks is saying, why are you grabbing me? Why are you pushing me? I'm nowhere near the football. I'm trying to get away from the ball. I understand what Hippolyte's trying to do, but in the context of that actual play, I think this is something that the competition committee, conferences need to look at.
Yeah, you can't pick up a guy
somebody
and
up
track him
and bring him in.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 5 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty. 1st down, Kansas State.
And that seems right.
That's about right. And I think Dana Holgorsen is saying, hey, that's not the right call, but that is the right call. So look at the top right. Number 5, Hassan Hippolyte. Remember, the ball has already hit the ground a couple times, but watch number 5. He's trying to pull and push Phillip Brooks into the ball. He's like, no, stop doing that. And good job by the official right there who saw it and throw the flag. You can't do that.
That's something you do to your little brother when you're trying to get them to do something they don't want to do.
Yeah, I think Dana Holgorsen is upset about that call, but it's the right call in that situation.
And also a lot of frustration with another slow start for Houston. They were also down 21-0 last week. Giddens cannot be tackled. Slips out of one and finish with some authority, DJ Giddens.
Woo! DJ Giddens, 6'1", 212, showing the wiggle first, making Isaiah Hamilton miss off the edge. And then Juwan Gaston got the end of it.
How about this? He's created 31 missed tackles this season. Only Taj Brooks has created more in the Big 12. Send it to Howard's left. This goes to Giddens. Giddens shifting for the first down. Ball is out, but it looks like Giddens was down clearly.
Ruling on the field.
And they will mark him down.
Play results in a first down.
Yeah, it looked to be a body part was down, so that will come back. Nice job by Panzer, number 54, the right guard, leading the way. And it just seems to be down.
First and 10 inside the 30 for Will Howard, who was dominated today. Giddens has not been shabby either. It's a solid pickup on first down. Let's check in with Kevin.
The halftime report will sound the upset alert siren for both Oklahoma and Penn State right now. We'll check in on both of those games. Plus, Sam Acho in studio to talk about how Texas can overcome the loss of Quinn Ewers and how Georgia will fare without Brock Bowers. Coming up when you join us at the half.
Two of the top players in college football, certainly a factor. Howard on the line. Brooks trying to slip through. He stays up, puts a hand down, and keeps going as Malik Fleming cannot make the stop.
Love the play call there by Colin Klein. All of the action is going one way. So watch the Houston defense. Everybody's going with the motion and the switches. But yet you get one-on-one on the outside with Phillip Brooks. He runs an individual route. It's just basically an option. You find the leverage of the defensive back and you break off of that. And good chemistry with his quarterback, Will Howard, for an easy pickup, first and goal.
And again, this is when Howard is at his best, when the run game is going and he doesn't have to carry the run game. Get it! Oh, no! Cooper Beebe sends someone in the next week. There is a flag down. Oh, my goodness. Whoa. That's a few pancakes.
We got to see a replay of that, please. Cooper Beebe, number 5. Come on, people's parents are watching. Number 50, out in front, leading the way. Oh! I'm sorry, Jawan Gaston. You're having a tough series. You get the Giddens hit at the end over on the sideline, and then
Personal
Cooper
foul.
Beebe.
Hands to the face. Number 30, defense. The result of the play is a touchdown. The penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Insult to injury. Giddens gets in, and Cooper Beebe is a grown man.
That block was so disrespectful, they thought it was a flag. Let's just be honest. That block from Cooper Beebe, getting out front and knocking somebody backwards, the offensive line thought the flag was on them. That was such a disrespectful block.
How many times do you hear a game and it's the block that's the key play in the touchdown run and not the guy in DJ Giddens that actually scored it?
My goodness.
That was unbelievable by Cooper Beebe, one of the best. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. Well, it's a good thing that Beebe's younger brother is on the K-State roster, because otherwise Cooper Beebe may be making blocks like that in the NFL. Playing with his bro was one of the big reasons why he decided to come back for another year.
Man, Cooper Beebe, wow.
And you see absolute domination. 28-0 Kansas State. Touchdowns on 4 of their 5 drives. Really give credit to DJ Giddens for what he's done. That 3rd and 15 conversion on the opening drive of the game, Kirk, that was the real spark that the Wildcats needed. And this has all been Will Howard.
Yes.
2 snaps for Avery Johnson. Everything else has been Will Howard.
Yeah, Howard, look, there's a reason why I think this offense is humming, is the experience of the quarterback. He's showing out today.
And Houston will let this go into the end zone. Huge honor this week for Cooper Beebe.
Offensive lineman to offensive lineman, from a guy that was in your shoes at one point. I just want to let you know that you're the finalist for the Campbell Trophy this year. which is a huge deal. I know how much work you put into it. Not only the football player you are, which we just got done talking about, but the steward you are to that community.
It really means a lot to hear that from you.
Hey, no problem, bro. Like I said, really proud of you, man. Soak this up, enjoy the heck out of it, and enjoy every part of it, bro. This is going to be the first of many awards you get.
I will. We'll do, man. Oh.
How about that? Dalton Reisner, one of the all-time greats here at Kansas State, who was also a finalist for the Campbell, giving Cooper Beebe the news that he was one of 16 finalists. This is essentially the academic Heisman,
right.
And we have a Campbell Trophy Award winner watching in studio right now in Sam Acho.
Yeah, that's an outstanding award. Look, Cooper Beebe's up for every preseason, midseason award you can think of for one of the best offensive linemen in all of college football.
Time winding down to get something on the board here in the first half. Dalton Carnes, who was told this week he's going on scholarship next year. It's going to have to be big with no Joseph Manchak in this game.
Trying to get in rhythm, trying to get something before the half. Houston is.
All 3 timeouts for Smith. And that was easy, but no yak, because it is VJ Payne, the safety, coming up to make the stop.
I love these safeties for Kansas State. They just jump off the tape. VJ Payne, Kobe Savage. We saw a big hit earlier by Marcus Siegel. Love these 3 guys in the middle of that 3-3-5 for Kansas State.
Kick off your NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the app. Then our Monday Night Football matchup features the Raiders and the Lions at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes. Hey, what do you know about the Raiders?
Well, I know they better win. I'll tell you that.
Well, but what do you know about some of the great players from the past?
I know a lot about the Raiders, an organization in which you have guys like,
like that one right there.
That. Where'd that come from?
Oh,
look at that.
Kirk, you look very mean in that photo.
Yeah. You know, on the field, different animal, man.
Yeah.
You put that helmet on, I tell you, you go into some dark places to go be a machine out there. Then when the game's over, let's go shake hands, share a hug, and let's go play some video games. How about that?
And one of San Diego State's finest. It's basically you, Stormy Bonatoni, and Marshall Faulk, the best that have ever come out of San Diego State. Smith, backside pressure, gets out of it. Oh no, through the hands, cannot happen. Stacy Snead. And Snead was going to run for a while there, Kirk.
Yeah, look, Osunsanmi had an opportunity to get the sack on the outside. So you had an opportunity to get the quarterback down, but you just missed. And this is the opportunities for Houston that they have not been able to convert on. This 3rd and shorts, they've got to be able to convert these 3rd downs. Does Donovan Smith use his legs if it's not there in the pass?
Just 1 for 5. Smith 3 carries, 11 yards so far. Just really haven't had opportunities with these short drives. And with Kansas State controlling the football. Over the middle, Carnes with his 2nd catch of the drive. Give him the first down.
Yeah, love Carnes. You talked about it earlier. Dalton Carnes, redshirt freshman, was a walk-on last year, has earned his way into a scholarship, but now he's earning more and more minutes, more and more opportunity on the field.
Smith over the middle, another drop. That ball needs to be caught. And that's Joshua Cobbs, another guy that's going to have to play more with no Manjack in this game. He's one of the leading receivers for Wyoming, transferred to Houston.
But I love the play call by Dana Holgorsen. I see what they're trying to do now. Houston, the underneath catch and go routes. They're going to have to get a lot of yards after catch, because Kansas State defensively is giving up those underneath routes and not allowing the deep play with 2 high safeties.
That was effective last week to get him back into the game against Texas. Smith, there is a flag down, will throw it away as he is brought down by Jake Clifton. See what this hanky is all about.
I think they get right tackle, Ruben Unije, on a hold as Donovan Smith tried to escape to the outside.
Holding, number 74, offense. 10-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
1 step forward, 2 steps back, unfortunately, for the Houston offense here tonight.
Yeah, right side of the screen, Ruben Unije. Look, when you have a quarterback that likes to get out of the pocket, it's always difficult because you don't know where the quarterback is, and you get that move to the inside, and Unije just doesn't understand. He doesn't feel the quarterback who's going to his right. If he knew the quarterback was escaping that way, probably doesn't hold him, just pushes him down the line.
2nd and 20. Go with the handoff off the middle. And Siegel makes the tackle. 11-yard gain.
Timeout, Houston.
Timeout.
Maybe have a couple
Houston,
more plays, a shot at the end zone.
It'll be
possibly.
a full timeout.
So at this point, 10 seconds left. You got a timeout still in your back pocket. I mean, are you even thinking field goal down 28-0, or are you pushing it for the end zone?
Well, I mean, 2 games ago, they converted on a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
So that's in their back pocket, right? There is belief that they can connect on a Hail Mary. They still have the 1 timeout left, so you can work the entire field. You want to get something going into halftime, Lo. You mentioned a field goal, a shot at the end zone, something. You need points. If the field goal opportunity is there, but you need to, I would think, another 10 to 15 yards just to be in a decent range for Jack Martin, who's already missed one. His long on the year, he hasn't connected from anything 50-plus.
Houston will get the ball in the 3rd quarter. Martin had a chance at a 45-yarder and missed that.
So they at least have to get to the 33. So at least another 12, 13 yards just to get them into a 50-yard field goal.
3rd and 9. Ball is tipped at the line and nearly picked off. Siegel was coming on quickly. And that was big 99, Uso Seomalu, that had the breakup at the line of scrimmage.
It's a good job by Uso. Just a big push up front, 99. If you can't get to the quarterback, get a hand up. Or the big man, you get a paw up for the Cats, right? A big paw. 6'3", 340. Seomalu gets a hand up.
Timeout.
Nice job.
Kansas State.
Now, will Kansas State learn from West Virginia here and get everybody back early and make sure the football hits the turf? It was Stephon Johnson who brought down the Hail Mary at the end of regulation to get the winner for Dana Holgorsen at West Virginia, against West Virginia at home. Do they have another mini miracle here before the half? This is part of the emotions, because with under 30 seconds left, West Virginia scores to take the lead, and it looked like the Mountaineers had the win, but no. Smith buys time, goes to the end zone. It's tipped by Manjack and into the hands of Johnson. Houston victorious, and that's a win they really needed in Big 12 play.
Yeah, it's their only win in the Big 12, right? So they know how much the Hail Mary play can work. They've seen it, and they get one more crack at it. And you look at the alignment of the defense of Kansas State. They've got one guy at the 30, one at the 20, one at the 10, and one guy at the goal line.
Five-man rush for the Wildcats. Smith will try to stay behind the line of scrimmage, trying to run away from pressure. He is still up, firing right at the line. It's going to be short and broken up smartly by VJ Payne. A dominant first half of football by Kansas State. They have not allowed a touchdown in the last 6 quarters of football. Look out for the Wildcats. The Big 12 is on alert. Send it to the studio. You're watching the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. The first half here in Manhattan, it was dominated by the Kansas State Wildcats. They put up 21 points, and how about a shutout the first half against a team that's known for scoring and moving the football with the Houston Cougars. Logan Galindo here with Kirk Morrison brings us to today's great performance, brought to you by State Farm.
Well, the first half was really dominated by one player in particular on offense. It was the quarterback, Will Howard. Able to get the ball, spread it around. Garrett Oakley had a touchdown early. Phillip Brooks another touchdown, but that was the conductor of the offense. Now, the most disrespectful player of the offense had to be Cooper Beebe, because he, very rarely we talk about an offensive lineman being a star. He was the star with some outstanding blocks and the block of the day, leading his running back into the end zone. That's what this first half was about. Will Howard throwing and Cooper Beebe being oh so disrespectful blocking.
Well, the fans here at Kansas State absolutely love it, as their Wildcats proving this is one of the most difficult places to play in America. The Cougars start with the football. Matthew Golden has got 2 kick return touchdowns this season, trying to get a seam. Now, there is a flag down as Golden takes it to the 40-yard line. We'll have to see what this flag is all about.
Holding. Number 36, offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So Kirk, Houston just cannot buy a break, so this is going to back up Donovan Smith here for the start of the second half.
They've got to find a way to get into some sort of rhythm. That's what they didn't do in the first half. Everything seemed to be a little choppy. You'll have a great play and then a penalty or a missed assignment or a missed throw. 3rd and long was just not their friend. And if I'm Dana Holgorsen, that's what I'm telling my quarterback at halftime. Let's get into some manageable 3rd downs.
Just 83 total yards for the Cougs in the first half, as Kansas State has not allowed a touchdown in their last 7 quarters of action. On the ground and dropped immediately by Desmond Purnell. Stormy.
I asked Dana Holgorsen what he could do to get Donovan Smith a little bit more involved in this game. And while I asked him specifically about Donovan, he said, you know what, yeah, he's not playing great right now, but he's one of 68 players that are on this trip that aren't playing like they're up for this. He said, I know it's the defending Big 12 champs. I know it's a tough environment, but our job was to come in here and compete, and they haven't played like they wanted to compete. I need to see some serious effort from my team this half.
Well, Stormy, that's a tough update for Houston to get called out by your head coach for effort. Here's a much better effort by the freshman Parker Jenkins, who's tracked down by Kobe Savage. How about that, though, Kirk? When a coach calls out your effort, that stings.
Well, we have to also take into consideration that this game started at 11 a.m. local time. This was a very early kickoff. And for a lot of these guys, they've never been to Manhattan, Kansas on this football team, let alone this is the first trip for Houston outside of the state of Texas. A lot of factors for a lot of young men in college football, just not the start that they wanted in the first half.
And let's not forget how good the Wildcats are here, trying to get something going on. The sweep to Samuel Brown. Count all the purple. They're there in a hurry. Jacob Parrish with the tackle. And Jacob Parrish, top cornerback for this Wildcats secondary.
For Houston, they just have to stack positive plays. You can't get it all back at once. Don't look at the scoreboard, because you think 28-0, we got to score right now. A lot of football left to be played in the second half. Just keep stacking positive plays.
Came back from a 21-0 hold against Texas last week, but they were able to tie it before the half. We're getting close. Up-ended, scary moment for Stephon Johnson. He makes the catch. This is not good. Looked like Johnson was frozen after hitting the turf with the football.
Yeah, Johnson goes up, climbs the ladder, catches that football at its highest point. I think it was Keenan Garber who was on the coverage number 1 who undercut Johnson as he obtained possession of the football.
But Stephon Johnson is getting up. We'll be right back. We'll check on the condition of Johnson. He's walking off like he's got this. He's back. That is great to see. Stephon Johnson, you'll see him wearing number 12 there on the center of your screen, made a ridiculous catch, came down in a scary moment, but this is great to see him walk off the field on his own power. Looks like everything is good to go with Stephon Johnson. That is great news. Let's now take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Verbo. Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, that's your top 3. We'll see what the College Football Selection Committee puts as their top 4 as we get those initial rankings released on Tuesday. Tell you this, though, Kansas State, absolutely one of the 25 best in college football. That is why the defense bowing up on 3rd and short. And Austin Moore, the tackle machine again.
Yeah, that's another tackle for loss for Austin Moore. He's got 8 on the season. Well, guess what? Put down number 9. Just seeing a gap and hitting it does not allow the tight end to block him. Matt Burns is supposed to have the inside help and get Austin Moore out of the way, but Moore taking away tackle for loss.
Punt is off. Phillip Brooks is the man deep. Short kick. He will not be wrestled into the path of the football this time.
Correct.
Well, coming up at 3:30 Eastern on ABC, our triple header rolls on with 7th-ranked Texas hosting BYU. We cap the day with Colorado at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, squaring off against number 23 UCLA. I understand the Colorado-UCLA matchup has caused some family drama for you, Kirk.
Well, I guess it's something to do, right? My wife's a UCLA grad, so a lot of the friends and family are like, oh, let's go to the UCLA game. I said, this is the prime effect. No one was talking about going to see UCLA versus Colorado last year. Now everybody wants to go to the Bruin game.
That's why it's so good for college football. How about the hands right there from Phillip Brooks as Will Howard continues to put it on the money?
Yeah, 1 touchdown already for Phillip Brooks, but I've just been impressed with Will Howard because we came into this game thinking, okay, quarterback rotation, Avery Johnson, Will Howard. But Will Howard led 4 drives, and the Cats scored 4 touchdowns on those drives.
So Avery Johnson for 2 snaps, and he fumbled, in which was the only lost fumble for the Wildcats this season. Howard can do this so effectively as well. Doug Belk, the Houston defensive coordinator, says that Howard is just as good running the football in his eyes as Johnson. He does have a bigger frame as well. They can run him inside more.
Yeah, look, 6'5", 242 pounds. And I think the offensive game plan was, remember, locating who was at quarterback, but with Will Howard back there, he gives you the run game, but more importantly, he's been lethal as a passer today.
7 for 7 are the Wildcats on 3rd down. Just 1 incompletion in the game so far for Will Howard. Best start for a Kansas State quarterback in that regard in 20 years. That's not going anywhere, as that is David Ogwebu making the stop. He's had a couple of those here so far today.
Yeah, this change in defense has been great for Ogwebu. Whether it's the 3-3-5, whether it's the 4-2-5, he's been the one guy that showed a lot of scheme versatility, and that's an excited defensive coordinator there. Your first opportunity on defense to start the half, and you get a 3 and out. That's huge.
That's the first real stop that hasn't been via turnover by the Houston defense. Kick is off. Fleming is going to pick up about 4 yards to set up Donovan Smith at the 30-yard line. Houston has to get something going, and they need to get it going now. Almost time for the first college football playoff rankings release. Tuesday, October 31st on ESPN. We have the College Football Playoff Top 25 show presented by Allstate. Kirk, who do you have in the initial rankings?
Look, Georgia, Michigan, I know undefeated. And regardless of what's going on at Michigan right now, I still see them as a 1-2 with Georgia and Michigan. Florida State, I got them at 3. Washington, big win over Oregon. Ohio State, Oklahoma down right now currently as my first 2 out.
Donovan Smith back to work here. Parker Jenkins as his running back. Nothing on the board for the Cougars after a quick drive to open up the second half. Late in the play clock. And this is going to be a missed tackle for Kansas State as Parker Jenkins with a nice carry. So, Stormy, I think I'm wired the same way you are, looking at the strength of record a little bit more. Ohio State has a couple really good wins. I like the Florida State win against LSU, OU against Texas, and I start seeing Georgia and Washington, and I just wonder, Stormy, what's on the resume?
Well, exactly, and that's why I appreciate Kirk's thought process with the Georgia Bulldogs, but for me, 109th in the country in strength of schedule, gentlemen, for the Georgia Bulldogs. How they play Florida is going to be critical, but that's a huge thing, as is this play right here.
Donovan Smith, he didn't get it. The initial spot is short. They're going to give him the first down. Ooh. That is a close one.
That was close.
From up here, it looked like Smith was short.
They got a lot. Cody Stufflebean, number 47, he was right there creating a wall, creating a pile, and it's the extension of the football before Smith went to the ground, I think is what got the first down.
Remember what Coach Holgerson said, nothing phases Donovan Smith. So even being down 28-0 on the road, he's a gamer. Still plenty of battle left. Carry wrapped up in a hurry by Jake Clifton, who's been active today. And fans, go to ESPN.com/All-State Playoff Predictor to check out your team's chances to make the college football playoff.
I just want to tell Stormy, just remember this, you too low. You can only play your schedule. That's what the schedule is, right? You go out, you take care of business, you show domination. That's what Georgia and Michigan, that's what they've been doing so far to start the season.
Yeah.
Would everybody look that good if they played that schedule?
Oh, come on.
You know?
Michigan is going to be judged on what they do against Ohio State and Georgia, the same thing.
Okay, but Ohio State beat Penn State and Notre Dame, who we all anticipate will be top 15 teams, no? So they're playing who's in front of them and they're winning games. They shouldn't be number one. Come on.
I fell asleep during that Penn State-Ohio State game, so I can't tell you much.
Now you're calling yourself out for not doing your homework.
A win.
That was a sleepy game.
Well, if you're Kansas State, you have to like the way with the college football expansion next season, it sets up in this conference, because they should be the top dog in this conference moving forward. Smith. Oh, what a play and catch by Samuel Brown. Staying up, and his foot was just in bounds. Looked down to check out if he was okay, and that's 21 yards.
I love the block by Parker Jenkins, the true freshman, number 23. He gets the pickup of the blitz, and then you get the ball to the outside, and Samuel Brown toe-tapping, tiptoeing, keeping that foot in bounds.
Longest gain of the game for the Houston Cougars. Into Wildcats territory. Back to the ground, up the middle, and tripped up. Khalid Duke made the tackle from the ground. Duke is a guy that Chris Kleiman says will be an NFL player.
He's taken after Felix Anyudike-Uzama, was the outstanding defensive end a year ago, now with the Kansas City Chiefs. And Khalid Duke's been falling right behind his footsteps.
Yeah, Big Felix, he was just different. 2nd and 8 here for Smith, who's 9 of 20. Back to the ground and stopped by Austin Romaine, the true freshman.
It is such a luxury for Kansas State when they can stop the run with 5. They've only got 5 guys, 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers in that box. They're stopping the run with 5 men. That leaves 6 other guys to go out and play in coverage. That's what's going on in the mind game for Donovan Smith. Seeing a lot more guys in coverage because they're not committing extra guys to stop the run.
8th play of the drive.
Now they show pressure.
Well, the Wildcats bringing her back off. Here it comes. Quick pass. Dancing is Matthew Golden, and wrapped up. Austin Romaine, a couple big tackles on that sequence. 4th down. What do you do, Dana Holgerson?
Well, you got to go for it. And analytics say right now down 28-0. But Kirk Morrison analytics is telling me you go for it on 4th down. This is a big drive to at least get some kind of points. That's why you go for it right here. 4th and 7, especially on the plus 37. Got to go for it.
Houston 4 for 16 on 4th down this season. 0 for 1 here today. Smith will be dropped. The blitz timed perfectly. Nate Matlack hitting home. Sack number 4 for the big junior.
What a call. Nate Matlack. He's on the top. He's going to loop. And when you get the loop, you get the scoop. This time the scoop was a sack. Matlock bow and arrow style.
When in Manhattan, what do? You go to Varsity Donuts because it's the absolute best. It's donuts, and it's amazing donuts. Speaking my language here, game week, they make and decorate up to 17,000 donuts by hand, people. That is what it's all about. Here's DJ Giddens. It's been all about him so far today. Give him a first down run and maybe give him some Varsity Donuts. Here we go. It's a beautiful spread. I'm going to attempt to eat.
Who are you going to go with? Okay.
I'm going to set a record for most donut holes at once.
I'll go with the Purple Rain right here. Good.
Oh, my God.
Delicious. All right. We're good. Thank you, Varsity. I appreciate it. A little snack.
I hope this is not a big play. Howard!
Will Howard using his legs. You know what? This is one of the things that the offense, it's going. And 200 yards rushing the last 4 games, or 4 games in a row. And a lot of it is because of Will Howard. I think getting pushed by Avery Johnson. We haven't seen Avery Johnson just 2 plays on the day. This has been all about Will Howard, the Will Howard show, showing why we think Kansas State can be in big contention for a conference championship again.
Hey, Kurt, but such a mature response from Howard. He heard the reaction when Avery Johnson went into the past couple of games. Fighting there as he is brought down. As Jamari Caldwell and Nadeem Tucker are there. But he knows that the fans are clamoring for what's new. And Avery Johnson's the bright, shiny new toy. And he's fabulous as well, Stormy.
Yeah, and it's something that he told me he feels like he's kind of gone through different variations of a similar situation throughout his career. Early on, being the backup to Skylar Thompson, he feels like he gets his opportunity a season ago. Adrian Martinez transfers in, and then all of a sudden this year, he's supposed to be the unquestioned guy. And here's this up-and-coming young freshman. But the way that he has just handled everything, so mature, such a team guy. Everybody loves and rallies around him. It's been really, really impressive to see.
And look, even at the least, Stormy, if Avery Johnson playing the last 2 games was a spark plug to get Howard back on track, it worked. It was effective because he is a different cat here today. 4th down and 5, and the Wildcats will go for it. Howard in the backfield with Giddens. Howard's got an opportunity to run if he wants, throwing on the run, and still fighting, but it's Sergey Garcia.
That was a good job.
Spotted down shy. Houston gets the stop. Let's check in with Kevin Connors.
All right, Lowell, AT&T 5G is keeping fans connected with our multi-view over on ABC. Jordan Travis has 3 touchdown passes, 1 touchdown run. The Seminoles taking it to Wake early in the third quarter, rather. Anaya Smith has a touchdown grab. The Aggies trying to end a 2-game skid over on ESPN in front of South Carolina. SMU 59-3 on ESPNU, 510 yards. Lowell midway through the third.
5-10. That is doing some work. 3:04 here today for the Kansas State Wildcats. They won't put up quite as many yards because they don't have as many possessions, but they score nearly every opportunity they get. Oh, no! Marquise Siegel cleaning the clock.
Those are the plays that you dream of. You wake up in the middle of the night of plays like that if you're Marcus Siegel. An opportunity to make a play in the open field, and we've talked about it again. This offense for Houston just not able to find the big play. Everything has been underneath, and Kansas State has rallied to tackle.
Jenkins on the ground. A rally to the football there as Austin Romaine was in on the tackle, as well as Khalid Duke, who tripped him up.
Impressed with this defense so far for Kansas State. I mean, last week, you hold TCU to 3 points. You hold them out of the end zone. And another repeat performance with an outstanding offense like Houston's that's going to put up points. And they've got another goose egg up right now. So 2 weeks in a row, this defense for Kansas State playing well.
But Dana Holgorsen said what they have not seen is a true starting quarterback. Pointed out that K-State has faced backups recently, It doesn't matter here. Smith is one of the better ones, and he's running for his life. Everybody chasing him down. He is still up. He's going to be picked. Intercepted. Will Lee down to the 25. Interception number 2 on the season for the sophomore from Kirkwood, Missouri.
Just watch the effort first by Donovan Smith. He's just trying to find something. He's trying to make a play. He's running around in the backfield. And at this point, maybe just throw the football away. Throw it out of bounds. Get to the next down. You put the ball up with no velocity, and Will Lee with the big interception, and that's huge for Lee. We talked about it. He started the first 5 games, was injured. Keenan Garber elevates to his spot, and now for him, sort of as a reserve, trying to get that spot back, gets the big interception.
Only the 5th interception by Smith this season. Giddens. He is a bowling ball, a ball and knife so tough to bring down. An 11-yard pickup. I really like this combo between Giddens and Ward. They complement each other so well, Kirk.
Right, and then you mix in the quarterback too, Will Howard. We saw also another run earlier with Jace Brown, Jaden Jackson. They're mixing it up with not just the running backs, but also some wide receivers getting involved as well.
And such a boost to see Ben Sinnott, number 34, out there. A lead blocker on this play for Giddens, as Giddens refuses to go down until he's in that purple paint.
You mentioned it. Sinnott 34, he gets the kick out. Then the center, Hayden Gillum, he gets another block. And then it's all effort by DJ Giddens. 6'1", 212, rolling into the end zone.
It's almost blasphemy to say, but Giddens and Ward are matching the production of Deuce Vaughn outside those long 50-plus runs. Kansas State is reloaded. But the guy that's making it all go is still Will Howard. It's his show. It's his team.
That's just a big, big drive for them. All started by the turnover, right? They get the turnover from Will Lee, and they cash the turnover in, and it's 35-0. It's a reason why Kansas State is confident, is because when things sort of get a little chaotic, right? The previous series, they didn't get it. 4th down, turnover on downs. They get back to what? The run game. They start off on the side of Cooper Beebe, and then they go to the right side with Sinnott leading the way, Gillum leading the way, and they find a way into the end zone. You go back to being old school, running the football, and this front leading the way.
I don't know if there's a more beloved offensive coordinator in college football than the one that the Wildcats have, because he is Colin Klein, former Heisman finalist in the Ring of Honor here. A true Kansas State legend, and he is really coming into his own as an offensive play caller. This is a sneaky, great Kansas State offense. Fair catch. Houston will start at the 25. Big 12 now on ESPN Plus is a must-have for Big 12 fans. Today's featured college football game is Baylor hosting Iowa State at McLean Stadium. Coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central. Sign up today at espnplus.com/Big12 now. Stormy had the report off the top of the broadcast. Welcome to the Big 12. This is what we signed up for. The comments from Dana Holgorsen, they didn't have 2-game turnarounds like this in the AAC. A home game against Texas, road game against Kansas State. This is the electric Samuel Brown on the end around to the 50 and then some. And that is the guy, former West Virginia Mountaineer, that has been relatively held in check as this entire Houston offense has.
Yeah, but that will go down as a reception, right? The ball kind of tossed in front. That's a 25-yard play, the longest play of the day for Houston. And it was just a play of getting the ball into their best playmaker's hands, Samuel Brown.
See how the Wildcats defense recovers here. Just don't see these guys panic. Smith, a clean pocket. Looking for it, all underthrown and dangerously close to being picked off by Matthew Mashmeyer. Looking for Stephon Johnson. This is a win for Houston, though, just to see Stephon Johnson back on the field at a very scary moment as he was upended on a catch earlier in this game.
Yeah, you talked about it earlier. They're already down Joseph Manjack, who's not playing today. So being down one guy, Stephon Johnson, out for a period of time, to see him back, they've got to get multiple guys getting the football in their hands. Again, another missed throw down the field. Just a big play has not been there for Houston.
Trying to go sideline, sideline. Matthew Golden running out of room. How about the pursuit there from the Wildcats deep?
Well, it was Will Lee. Look, he had the interception on the previous series, but this time he's making an opportunity for the cavalry to get there. The guy's running inside out. So you get a cornerback holding his edge, not allowing the receiver to get outside of him. That's a good team defense, good discipline defense.
And Houston will take this to the fourth quarter. Make it 8 consecutive quarters of play by the Kansas State defense, not allowing a touchdown. They are finding their rhythm and looking the part of a contender. 35-0 after 3.
Nothing Kansas State as we're back here in Manhattan with head coach of the Wildcats, Chris Kleiman. I know a question you had coming into this week was how would your team maintain the edge that they had the last couple of weeks? How impressed are you with the edge they brought today?
Yeah, for 3 quarters we're playing with that edge, that chip on our shoulder, and proud of the guys. We talk about a one-play mentality, and we've done that. It's a good second half. We've stumbled a little bit. The defense made a couple stops, and this is a critical time here.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet. Thanks.
And another stop by Will Lee. He had the interception last drive and breaks up that pass on 3rd down. But of course, right here, Dana Holgorsen has to go for it.
Yeah, got to go for it. Everything now is all about going for it and keeping the chains moving. Just an uncharacteristic day for Donovan Smith. 13 of 27 right now. Less than 100 yards passing. Less than 100 yards passing for Donovan Smith. Just cannot get anything going, but if I'm Donovan Smith, I'm trying to find Samuel Brown. Number 4, Samuel Brown offensively.
Wildcats defense is hungry. Here comes the blitz. Smith picks it up. He's got a man open, but overthrows Samuel Brown.
Right idea. Just overshot the guy that he needed. And just a frustrating day for that guy, number 1. Donovan Smith.
Time for Avery Johnson to get his shot at quarterback for the Kansas State Wildcats. And a couple snaps earlier we'll talk about what was the 2022 Kansas Gatorade Player of the Year. One of the biggest prospects Kansas State has ever signed. Number 77 overall, regardless of position in the ESPN 300. 5 rushing touchdowns against Texas Tech. Tied a school record set by his OC, Colin Klein. And that was his breakout game. Played a little bit before that, but we've seen him a lot in the last 2. And it's going to be a handoff to Treshaun Ward. What happened the last time he touched the ball, Kirk?
Well, the last time he touched the football, he only had 2 plays. But the second play, he handed the football, or a mishandle of the football, to Giddings. That was the first turnover or first fumble takeaway by the defense for Kansas State. They had fumbles earlier, but none. They've always recovered. The first one of the season where they actually had a giveaway.
And we know he's going to learn from that. He is a different type of guy. He's bouncing off tackles is Treshaun Ward. And this is going to set up a 3rd and manageable here for Avery Johnson. More advanced as a runner right now, but we saw the passing game start to come to life last week, especially going to his buddy Chase Brown.
Well, one of the things is when you look at Avery Johnson is that he's got to learn the signals as well. He's learned them. That's one thing as a true freshman. You have to learn the signals from the sideline. You have to know the play calls. He's going through that process, and it's starting to slow down for him.
Here's the 3rd and 6. This is what he does best, but Houston is ready.
Nice job there. Great job there.
And that is Justin Benton making the stop.
That was all play design, or scheme design, I should say. Nice job by Doug Belt, the defensive coordinator. Earlier I said locate who's in the game, Will Howard or Avery Johnson. They ID'd Johnson at quarterback, a nice little twist stunt in the front, and Benton was able to come through for the sack.
Did you realize Kansas State has a punter? Jacob Bloomer for the 2nd time. Still letting that thing roll to the 15-yard line. So 2 drives from Avery Johnson. Nothing to show for it quite yet, but K-State has this one in lockdown, 35-0. Kansas State has made a habit of winning Big 12 championships. Started under the legendary Bill Snyder, 03 with L. Roberson and Darren Sproles. Colin Klein was just a one-man wrecking machine back in 2012. Helping Bill Snyder get his final Big 12 championship, and Chris Klieman not missing a beat. Riding the coattails of Deuce Vaughn, and it was Will Howard who came on late that season to lead the Wildcats to that Big 12 championship over TCU. And Tuesday, starting at 7 Eastern on ESPN and the app, we'll have the exclusive reveal of the first college football playoff top 25 rankings of the season. Reese and the guys will break it all down from top to bottom. Quarterback change for Houston. This is now Uwe Alei in at quarterback. He's played sparingly so far this season. Opens up with a solid carry there on 1st down.
Yeah, and I don't believe this is waving the white flag. People on the Houston side saying, well, why don't you just leave Donovan Smith in? I think you have an opportunity here, down 35-0 in the 4th quarter, under about 12 minutes to go. You give Alei an opportunity to get some throws with Donovan Smith just not having a great day.
Back on the ground, and especially if it's not running or not working through the air, go to a guy that may be a little more explosive on the ground, even though Smith has been good there, but wasn't able to get anything started on the ground. And Smith 13 of 28 through the air, 88 yards. Why not just make a change, just try to spark things up, because ultimately 0 on the board, Kurt.
This has been 3 physical games in a row for Houston, all right? A couple weeks ago, West Virginia, they win at the last second. Then the Texas game last week. And then you have Kansas State, who, if you look at the trenches, they've got guys on the offensive and defensive side, defensive lines that have just been dominant.
Snead with the carry, and Matlack makes a stop.
And I think this is part of what Houston's going to go through this season. You know, they wanted to be in the Big 12. Well, guess what? You got Big 12. But I don't know if their roster yet is ready to go through that gauntlet year in and year out just yet. They're going to have to improve a lot, and it really starts up front.
Alei to throw. He was looking for Carnes, and it's off. It's also become that much more difficult now to recruit in the state of Texas.
Right.
With Texas, Texas A&M in the SEC starting next year, Oklahoma as well. There's that draw, that allure of now 3 teams that recruit heavily in the state of Texas being able to tout the SEC.
But that's how big last week's game for Houston against Texas was. They created an atmosphere of what big-time college football looks like. Having Big 12 games with that many fans in attendance was huge for Houston.
Alei right at the sticks. This is going to be marked down short. It was brought in by Joshua Cobbs, his 2nd catch of the day. Houston, nothing to lose here. Go for it.
Yeah, definitely go for it. I mean, they're going for it regardless, but what play can they dial up that can get them a yard? Right, this isn't the Philadelphia Eagles where you have Jalen Hurts can get behind there and they get that old brotherly shove and it gets them a yard. Can they pick up a tough yard? I just talked about the Big 12 and what Houston needs to get done. Can they get the tough yard on 4th down?
Alei with the keep. And it's a first down, but it takes a punishing as well. Did the ball come out?
Ball out.
Kansas State says, we've got this one. And Kansas State comes up with the football, but no signal.
Waiting for the signal. Come on, White Hat. Give us the signal. The White Hat's the official, head official.
The ruling in the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, Kansas State.
Kansas State football. Desmond Purnell came up with the bottom of the pile with that football. Will Lee, though, he continues to just rock and roll.
Will Lee's trying to put his name back in the starting lineup. I mean, he's got a pick. He's got, watch at the end of the play. Number 8 comes in out of nowhere, just finishing off the play. Number 8, Will Lee, just playing to the whistle. Gets that shoulder in, that ball is loose. You talk about trying to show and prove that you belong in the starting lineup. Will Lee has done that literally in this second half.
Got himself an interception, a key PBU, and how about a forced fumble right there? So Kansas State gets one back after losing their first fumble all season long. So what goes around comes around for the Wildcats in this case.
Another replay review, though. Dana Holgerson's like, uh-oh.
Not
this one again.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, when I want the review, I don't get it. Now it's an opportunity here where they review it, and I don't know if this one's going to go his way either.
And to clean up everything, he was hot after the loss against Texas. Didn't know why that spot on third down was not reviewed. But it has been clear this thing is going to be a Kansas State football. He did confirm, though, that during the week, the Big 12 in their conversation stated that that play actually did get reviewed during the game, and it actually was confirmed. And Will Lee, that is doing some work. And all that action really coming in the second half here. Avery Johnson back to work. Got to get a little spark plug for the Wildcats offense as Frias gets the carry. Trying to work left side. So what do these possessions now mean for Avery Johnson, when for the first time it has not been easy?
Well, he's got a backup offensive lines. Watch the center, Sam Hecht, snaps the football and just trips, right? So you've got a couple of reserves going in the offensive line, and this time of game, you're getting guys more opportunities, more reps. So you just want to see plays like that from Avery Johnson. These routine plays, I should say. Okay, the routine plays are what you want to see to end this football game, right? About 9 minutes left. See if you can put together a drive for a couple series where you're able to do what? Move the football, move the chains, and get into the right call from the sideline.
Had 42 snaps against Tech, 36 against TCU. It's been used sparingly here. That's going to be a first down pitch and catch to Garrett Oakley. How about Oakley now with 3 catches today?
That's 3 times more than what he was, a 300% increase.
Yeah.
He had 1 catch coming into the game, and now he's the playmaker on offense.
And a touchdown as well. The overhand toss right outside the reach of Xavier Lloyd. He really comes up and over with that throwing motion, Kirk.
Yeah, look, I had a chance to watch him during pregame. So the ball comes out of his hands. But I think what he has to work on, obviously, is the touch, the accuracy, and when to really put it on him, and then when to really take a little off. He takes a little off on that last play. He's probably got a reception.
Uber talented. There is going to be movement on Kansas State, however.
False start. Number 83, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Now, when we get the chance to see Avery Johnson in the open field turn the corner, that's where he is really special. Chris Kleiman saying he is legit 21 to 22 mile per hour speed on GPS. Kirk, you know that's booking.
Yeah, well, he can go. He is. Very rarely do you see him get caught from behind.
And here he is. How about the jump cut? That's not too bad as well. And also has a knack for avoiding big contact. That's one of those plays some quarterbacks may have been smacked there, not hit.
But I don't want to steal your thunder here, Lowell, because I thought you brought up a great point earlier when we were talking, because we're trying to find what's the college football comparison. for Avery Johnson.
It's, from what I've seen, it's Pat White.
Correct.
So far, West Virginia.
Yeah, that reminds me a lot of Pat White, throwing a little Vince Young as well. The ability, the length, obviously, at 6'2", he's got the ability to take off and run, but he's got a smoothness to him where it never looks like he's running full speed.
And here he goes, throwing on the run, completing inside the 5-yard line to Will Swanson.
I mean, look at that. That last play, he's in the pocket, he slides up and then throws a little, like he's playing shortstop in the World Series, right? Finds a little opening and just throws a little sidearm shot to his tight end, Swanson, for a first down. That's what I talked about, what you want to see with this opportunity right here during this game.
Running left side, and Houston is there. Malik Robinson is able to make the stop. And I know you start throwing out two of the all-time greats in college football, Pat White, Vince Young, but he's got that kind of upside, and he's in between those two when it comes to height.
Correct.
Right? He's in between, but it's that slipperiness. You never saw White and Young take big shots. And they never looked like they were running fast, but they were moving.
He's a true freshman. He's going to grow into this role.
Johnson looking, and there it is. I'm going to call this the first touchdown pass of Avery Johnson's career. He was marked for one last week,
right,
but it was a little forward option pitch. That's the first one to Seth Porter, of all people, the special teams demon. This is a great moment for Wildcats football.
Watch him go through his progressions. He looks right, not there, looks at number 2, not there, comes all the way back to his third progression. That's what you want to see from the true freshman quarterback, and he made a play to your guy, Seth Porter.
Seth Porter, a guy that does everything right on special teams for this Kansas State program, as that extra point is missed by Leighton Simmering. To see him have his moment getting into the end zone in a regular season games where it really means something, how about it? Avery Johnson helping a senior get into the end zone. Beautiful poetry here in Manhattan. The next stop on the F1 schedule is the Mexico City Grand Prix tomorrow at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on ABC. Pre-race coverage begins at 2:30 Eastern with additional coverage on ESPN Plus and ESPN Deportes in English and Spanish at 3 Eastern. I can make this guarantee.
What's that?
You're not getting this football away from Seth Porter. I don't care how big, how nasty. He's hiding that thing. He's hiding that thing in towels. Why?
That's his bro. He got his brother hiding it for him.
Because it's the first touchdown of his career. Amazing moment here in Manhattan. Let's check in with Kevin.
Lowell, take a look at what's happening in Happy Valley. Brendan Sorsby to Omar Cooper.
Indiana has 361 yards of total offense. Penn State has only given up 220 in the whole game.
They're outgaining the Nittany Lions. They're within a field goal at 24-21.
Hey, Kurt, that is a great catch that it's his brother Shane. Hiding that football.
Little bro, the sophomore Porter, right? Shane Porter's the sophomore. He made little bro hide the football for Seth. How about that?
Unbelievable. Houston trying to get summoned. Oh, there's the stiff arm. But you ain't going to outrun Matthew Mashmeyer, who makes a stop. Let's check in with Stormy.
Oh, guys, the dapping up has just continued up into now for Porter. That entire commercial break, one by one, everybody's coming up to him. He had tears in his eyes, guys. This is a huge moment for him.
He is the best player on special teams for Kansas State, a program that is long storied for their excellence in special teams. His head coach says he's the best special teams player in America. How about that? And that's almost an interception. A guy that's so good on pump block, he says he has a Deuce Vaughn type effect because everybody on special teams is pointing out, where is number 16, Seth Porter? But for him to get that moment offensively, that is a thing of beauty.
Yeah, he's getting his helmet ready because third down, it's punt alert, right? Punt return alert. Seth Porter, 5'8", 170.
So he's a machine.
Yes. So he knows the assignment when he goes in the game, what his assignment is. Let's go make a play.
The lefty, Ale, trying to find someone to throw to. Ball is thrown behind and broken up by Mashmeyer as he was trying to find Joshua Cougars. So Houston on 4th down here. It's going to bring out the punt team. Now we're seeing Porter's brother, Shane Porter, is getting his moment here. The bottom of your screen wearing number 15. The punt is away to Brooks. And he calls for the fair catch. 41-0. Wildcats trying to tack on more. Will we see more Avery Johnson? Or maybe some more Porter family goodness? Coming up at 3:30 Eastern on ABC, our triple header rolls on with number 7 Texas hosting BYU. We cap the day with Colorado at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, squaring off against number 23 UCLA. You ain't getting the ticket to that one, are you, Coach?
No, ESPN College Football just confirmed that's a sellout for UCLA and Colorado. That is huge news for the late afternoon game.
New quarterback for the Kansas State Wildcats. We've seen Will Howard. We've seen Avery Johnson. Now it's time for the sophomore from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, Jake Rubley. His pops played quarterback for the Rams back in the day. It's a young man with some high hopes as well, 6'3", 217. And his job is to get these final 5:13 off the clock and secure that dub for the Kansas State Wildcats. Filius with the carry. And Kirk, it was Kansas State making another opening drive statement. Their 6th opening drive touchdown in 8 games. And that 3rd and 15 conversion by DJ Giddens really sparked the team. Even when Houston thought they had a chance to get back in this game with the Avery Johnson fumble, Kansas State found a way to get a stop, and they've just controlled this game.
Well, I thought they've handled the early start to the best of their abilities. That was a great job by them. This is 11 a.m. kick locally. So a lot of their meetings and schedule routine had to change. They look like the more prepared football team.
And the Wildcats will keep this drive going on the ground to Anthony Frias.
And I think even bigger is that they played the game that's being played today. Okay, and what I mean by that is they weren't looking ahead for next week's opponent.
Yeah.
Because they could have. Next week's opponent is Texas. So you could say they overlooked Houston and they kind of, flop around a little bit in the first half throughout the game. No, they came out here with a purpose, and it was workmanlike from the first series, like you mentioned.
And we'll really find out next week, but the Big 12 has been billed as back to the classic Big 2, Texas and Oklahoma. After seeing this performance, and I know OU, they're in a battle with Kansas.
21-17.
Are you ready, though, to put Kansas State in that conversation of a Big 3 in the Big 12?
Well, again, we talked about it earlier in the game. Kansas State right now currently is where they were a year ago at this time. And I don't think last year at this time we had Kansas State going to the conference championship, but even beating TCU in the conference championship game. So to think that they were there a year ago, and they've got a team that I think may be better now, the way they're playing defensively and what they have offensively, next week is going to be huge.
And that's Eric Pizarro with the catch. So a lot of unlikely talent and targets now getting their moment for the Kansas State Wildcats. That's when you know you've beat down a team where it's a conference opponent and you can empty your bench, Kirk.
But, Coach Kleiman yesterday, he talked to us about that. The way that they build this program is through recruits, high school recruits. This isn't built on the transfer portal like you see so many schools around college football. They hand-pick guys in the portal, 5 or 6 maybe, where you look at around college football, you see upwards of 30, 40 new players amongst the university.
Great pitch to Frias, who continues to battle on 3rd and 4. How about this, though? Dating back to last season, Kansas State has now made it 6 straight games at home with at least 40 points per game. That's big time.
Yeah, they're holding up. They're undefeated at home this year. They'll get another victory. But next week they go on the road, and that's the test. In their own stadium in Manhattan, Kansas, they're tough to beat. But going on the road at Texas, that's when I think they'll wake up, or they'll get more eyeballs on them going for the rest of the season.
And we'll have to see what Texas looks like with Malik Murphy coming in at quarterback for Quinn Ewers. That's going to be a big question mark because Murphy has never been put in that position before. And let's face it, Kansas State has had a ton of success throughout their history against Texas.
Well, we can talk about the K-State offense all we want, but man, this K-State defense has also said, hey, don't forget about us. They put pressure on Donovan Smith early. They forced him into some errant throws, couldn't get the ball down the field. They stopped the run. They were just all over the place. And Donovan Smith even had to be pulled from this game early. They frustrated a quarterback that they were concerned with, but a job well done by Clanderman and this Kansas State defense.
And it's going to be another keep by Ale. How about this, though? We've got the game within the game here now on what could be the final drive. Kansas State, 4 40-point shutout wins in the Big 12, second most in conference history behind Texas. But how about this? Houston has not been shut out since 2000. That was a loss against Texas. Dana Holgorsen has not been shut out since 2013 against Maryland. And there is a big, fat 0 to the right of that UH logo. Cougars playing for some pride here. Wildcats trying to close this one strong with backups in the game. Can't say enough, though, about the job that this defense has done, as they will try to make it 9 straight quarters of football without allowing a touchdown. Kirk, that's ridiculous. 9 straight.
2 1/4 games, right? 9 quarters, that's 2 games plus a quarter without giving up a touchdown.
So we need to give props to the DC, Joe Clanderman, who has said that he'll take guys with high IQ over guys that may be more physically gifted any day of the week. They will not compromise on having intelligent football players.
Well, he also gave us his card as well. And anytime he wants, or we have a question about football and defense, he said, give him a call. So I said, you know what? Cool. So I have Joe Clanderman's card, and I will call him if I have any football questions.
Kirk, I don't think you need to make that call. This has been a clinic.
Absolutely.
It has been a defensive and offensive clinic. Kansas State, the Big 12 is on notice. The Wildcats are ready to make another run to try to win back-to-back Big 12 championships. Chris Kleiman has one of the sneaky elite offenses in college football, and the defense now 9 straight quarters without allowing a touchdown. That is an amazing run. Next up, though, road trip to Austin. That will be the biggest game of the season for these Kansas State Wildcats.
That's the game, right? I think now the attention is here. First of all, you hold TCU without a touchdown, Houston without a touchdown. That's 9 straight quarters you mentioned without giving up a touchdown. You're starting to take notice that they're able to make some plays.
I love this storyline. The storyline with Stormy, Will Howard. He made a statement today. Stormy.
Yeah, they're just talking upstairs about the statement that you guys made today. It seemed like from that opening drive, you guys came out with an edge. How would you describe the mentality today?
Oh, I mean, we knew we had to start fast today, and I think we did a really, really good job of that. We knew we wanted to, hey, you too, bro. Hey, and, you know, we wanted to make a statement and put our stamp on this one, and I think we did a really good job.
What do you think that you've shown people about Kansas State football?
we're relentless, and there's no quitting this team. And I'm telling you, once one thing goes bad, our ability to bounce back from it is really, really good. And we got a lot more in us, so I'm excited for the rest of the way.
There were a lot of really cool moments, seeing different guys get involved. Oakley, Porter, any moments stand out to you most?
Oh man, both of those guys worked their tails off, especially Seth, man. I mean, Oakley's a young guy, he's gonna have a lot more, but Seth's been here 6 years, worked his tail off. Man, I could not be more happy for that kid. He's been wanting a touchdown this whole time. I wish I would have been able to throw it to him, but no, Avery got it to him, and he did a heck of a job, so that's awesome.
You told me that playing with the defense that you guys have gives you on offense that much more confidence. They have 3 points allowed to TCU last week, pitch a shutout today. How good is this group?
They're playing amazing football right now, and I'm telling you, if you can't win when your defense is shutting them out and giving up 3 points, I mean, you got something wrong on offense. But we're doing a really good job on offense too, and I think we're playing really good complementary football right now. And got to give the credit to those defensive guys, man. They shut them out. A really good offense. They shut them out.
Thanks, Will.
Yeah, thank you.
Next up, Texas, ladies and gentlemen.
And it looks like Will Howard and his Kansas State Wildcats are ready for that one. Howard had the best start by Kansas State quarterback in this game in 20 years. And with the win, it moves them right behind OU, who's battling Kansas right now in a 4-point game at 4-1 in the Big 12 standings, with Texas indeed coming up next. But this game was a statement for Will Howard. He said, "It is still my team, still my offense," as he finishes 15-17 for 164 yards and 2 scores. Watch out for the Wildcats. For Kirk and Stormy, I'm Logan Galindo. Thank you so much for watching. Back to the studio now with Kevin Connors and Sam Acho.